What's up, everybody? Welcome back to I Want Entertainment. We are here with another confessional from the one and only Romeo. Oh, Romeo. He just survived the first full live night of Gamers Paradise 2. What's on your mind? You said you have a lot to confess. You're
Oh
in a
my
pickle. What pickle you in?
gosh, it's just well, I mean, it's not really a pickle, but it's mess that I'm gonna have to like go behind. But it's low-key mess that I created for myself. So I was talking with Sean about testing Garrett and his loyalty to us and all this other jazz. And so I told Sean that I would make up a lie about me targeting Jackie and see if Garrett would directly go back to Sean and say something, or if it would spread around the house. Well, I couldn't always necessarily guarantee that Garrett would go and spread it around the house to make him look distrustworthy to Sean. So I did it myself. I went to not Jackie, I went to Tasha and Hannah, and I told them that I want to go after Jackie. Tasha and Hannah told me that there's an all girls alliance chat that Jackie started. And so I was like, perfect. Comes to find out, is gotten back to Jackie in some fashion that I was coming after her. So now, what I'm going to do is twist the narrative around when I talk to Sean and when I talk to Jackie, but I'm going to talk to Sean first so that he can kind of hopefully talk to Jackie to reassure her that this is all planned out and make it seem like Garrett's the one that threw him under the bus. Well, like that threw me under the bus, low key, instead of it being Tasha. I'm gonna get to Tasha in a minute. So, you know, that's good. Just had a good talk with Garrett. Garrett kind of told me that, there's pretty much been two sides of the house now. We have pretty much lines have been divided. It's 4-4 with me and Garrett in the middle. And so it's kind of how I wanted it to be, low key. It's just that I'm connected in with this one four to a certain extent, but I'm not really connected into this other four. I'm only connected into this other four through Hannah and Tasha. So the four side that I'm talking about over here is Papa, Billy, Hannah, Tasha. And then the four side over here is Sean, Jackie, Benny, Sharonica, with me and Garrett in the middle. So if I am thinking about things and how this round is going to go out, this side, the Let's Talk chat, is going to gain the majority just because this four is losing a number. So, of course, it will be in my best interest to go over here with where the numbers are, because even still, if they don't come into power, there's still enough bigger targets in this side that I could be able to potentially be safe with if I end up sitting next to them on the block, which I hope never happens, but we'll see. So yeah, I definitely am showing more loyalty to one side. That's kind of going into what happened last night. I mean, let's be clear. I'm not lying when I say that last night, like in the midst of everything, it was 1 o'clock in the morning when we started this round and doing all the whole CPU challenge and figuring out what level we was going to do. So I'm already like tired. On top of that, my ass was smoking and drinking. Y'all see, I do it to y'all every live night. It never fails. A blunt in one hand, a glass of wine in the other. So I was faded a little bit, so my mind's not really thinking straight. Only thing I kept thinking about in that moment was don't give up the people closest to you. Don't choose the people closest to you because you don't want people to connect the dots. So I knew I couldn't choose Sean and I didn't want to choose Gary. So I was just like, all right, looking at the screen when it came to me. First of all, Benny gagged me choosing me first. I was not expecting to be chosen first. I really thought Sean was going to get chosen first. I'm just going to put this. So when he chose me, I was like, oh, taken by a surprise. I literally looked on that first row, the same row that was with me, and I saw Sharonica, and then that's why I said Sharonica. Tasha ass was down here. My eyes were not going down here. I wasn't even thinking strategy-wise when I picked Sharonica. She literally was the first person that I fucking saw that I knew that I wasn't in that, like, it wasn't Sean or Gary. So I was just like, fuck it. Stronger. Of course, Sasha, oh, now I feel some type of way. Sasha feels like, it's just making me feel shitty, blah, 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 and all this other stuff. Now it just seems like you just like don't have my back, and I feel stupid for trust. Like, girl, shut up, because you're lying. You're trying to play the emotional card. I'm not stupid. I already know that's the route that you're going, and it's not going to work for me. Like, you're trying to throw in that whole, yeah, I even talked to Papa and told him to keep you safe and shit. What does that round have to do with where we're at right now? You're trying to bring up shit to make it seem as though, oh, I was looking out for you. I really did care about you. But yet here y'all are having this whole other alliance where y'all just making me feel like I'm on the bottom. Because let's be clear. And y'all saw, I brought it up to them when I brought up the whole thing about Jackie. I brought up to them about creating a 6-person alliance where it will be us 3 and we each bring in a person. They turned that down. And so when you turn that down, that just makes me feel and believe that you already have a big majority alliance. And so why put me in part of that? Because you don't want to expose your game a little bit too much. So that not only makes me feel like I'm on the bottom of this 3-person alliance, but then it also makes me feel like y'all just using me for numbers and safety. So now you're feeling some type of way because one of the reasons why you had me close to you was for safety isn't the case no more. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna cry about it and try to play that emotional plea because that's what you do. Sorry, baby, that don't work with me. I may be as empathetic as I am. I'm not the type of bitch though that will allow you to use your emotions to get the best of me, game or real life. I'm just not that bitch. So Tasha kind of pretty much sealed her fate with me, low key. Like if it comes down to it, if she somehow miraculously ends up saving herself again on the corrupted challenge, then so be it. But other than that, if Tasha's in the bottom 2, which I highly think will happen, I'm pushing for the votes for her to go because at this point she's a liability to my game. Garrett also told me in the call that he thinks that Tasha may have leaked something to Jackie, which like again helps with my narrative because then I can push the narrative that, oh, I told Garrett must have told Tasha, and Tasha then went to tell Jackie, and then Jackie came back to Garrett to solidify that. So, everything's just going to work out the way that I needed to work out. And hopefully, as like Garrett said in his assessment, which I kind of agree with, there's too many bigger targets on other sides of the house to where they're really not going to be focusing in on us no time soon. So as long as we can keep that going, I feel like I'll be in a perfect position to go to the end of this game. Now, who I'll be going with, child, that's up to the air at this point right now. As long as I'm there, though, like my mom said, I don't care how I get there, just get there. No, when I can, okay? Because I am. Let's be clear. Ooh, child.
So what was the most enlightening thing? Did you like learn anything specific that you think is pertinent game information from everything that happened on the live? Anything stand out as, well, I didn't know that before, or I peeped that. I peeped what you said, or I peeped that face, or I peeped that interaction. I peeped that choice.
No, honestly, if anything, it was more of like, it was validation. Because I've already talked to y'all about how I feel as though there's a power for each round. And now Gary kind of like confirmed that in that conversation with him, like how he feels as though who's ever pushing for a certain round to happen, they have a power. So that's why people think I have a retro power because I've been pushing for retro. But in reality, like I said, Garrett, it's one of the simplest rounds we can do right now. And a bitch just wants simple. I don't want none of these list shit because these list shit, that's what exposes my fucking game. And I'm trying to play this fucking middle as long, I'm ride this bitch till the wheels fall off. Okay. And so when you do shit like this, that those little banana peels in my fucking paths, I'm gonna have to fucking recoup and get my ass back to the front. So yeah, is no, it was more so a validation. It wasn't really anything that I wasn't already peeping. Like I already knew that Tasha had some type of loyalty to Billy. I knew that Hannah had some type of loyalty to Papa. I knew that Papa and Billy clearly had some type of loyalty together. And then I knew that Hannah and Tasha had loyalty together. Not stupid. Clearly, I'm already in the chat with all the with the Let's Talk people. So, and thank you, Jackie, because you also helped me in my game, which was speech last night when you just mentioned Sharonica, Benny, and Sean. Because while that wasn't intentional on my part not to say anything during the miss, again, I was fucked up. I think that was probably the best thing for my game because then that can kind of like show people that and on a public sense that I'm not really associated with them as y'all may think I am, because clearly she just named the people that she's rooting for and that she's associated with, and Romeo's name wasn't a part of that. But making sure that I'm doing my due diligence on the back end, like i.e. talking to Sean, making sure I'm working that relationship with Sean so that way he can reassure Jackie and everyone else that, you know, I'm with them. So it's like a little bit of damage control that I have to do, but it's anticipated because, like I said, the type of round it exposed my cards to a certain extent. I just have to, it wasn't fully to that extent. That's why I didn't want to pick someone close to me, because as long as it wasn't exposed my cards to that full extent, I'm still able to have some wiggle room to backtrack. Start this meeting.
You at work?
Of course, baby.
Okay.
All right. Oh, just so y'all know too, it's no tea, no shade. I be lying to them when I be all like, oh, I work and stuff like that. I'll be doing all that. Hold on one second.
Recording in progress.
Oh, there's two Josephs. No. Oh, you're still muted. Oh, you're a co-host already. I'm renaming myself now. Okay. But yeah. Cool. Oh my God, I'm tired. Me too. I will be right back. Okay. Hello.
Okay, we good. Let me stop the stream and get to work.